How's it going, everyone? Today we're gonna continue on our Gottlieb Dragon System 1. This is a 1978. We've gotten a lot done with our dragon. Our dragon is pretty happy. We got our back glass all touched up, and we got some light bulbs to change in the back yet, and that's where we're going to be working today. And back there and down in here, down here on the side of it. We got our cabinet all redone. Looking good. Playing field. We got it all touched up and clear coated. Everything is working on our playing field. We got some new plastics. It was a partial set, but it replaced ones that were really crappy of ours. Like, this is a new one, that's a new one, up there is a new one, and that's a new one. This is the original, and that one right there is original. This one was the wrong plastic. From what I could tell, the one they had on here with this same playing field style was Cleopatra. Pretty sure that's where that plastic came from that was on when we got it. Let's see, we worked through our boards. Power supply mainly was the worst. We changed out the driver board because it had some burnt resistors on it and they were burnt through the board. So I ordered one in that was untested. And of course it didn't work. We had a few things that were bad on it. We changed a couple resistors on it. And our MPU, we were kind of lucky with it. It was nasty as heck. If you don't remember, or if you didn't see it, go back and check out the first or second episode where I pulled the boards out of this. They had wires all soldered up on it, onto the bottom on the connectors, and the one connector was, we had two connectors missing that were soldered right to the board. The wires were soldered right to the board. We unsoldered all of them, got contacts all cleaned up and polished. We had two that came off. We repaired them, repaired the plugs. We put two new plugs on it and repinned a couple of the two plugs. Then we found out, it took me a while, but it finally dawned on me that we were missing the game prom. We didn't have a game prom on it. And it's like, well, no wonder nothing's going on. So I ordered in one of those, found one of those, and put that in, and lo and behold, the game started to kind of come back to life. And we did a few things to our board, and we cleaned up some more connectors and checked everything, and lo and behold, in fact, before I did that, I changed out a couple MPUs and tried a couple that I had sitting here, which are sitting right over there on top of that box. And those ones, there was a couple of them in there that we could have fixed and there had been no problem. But the more I thought about it, I kind of like to fix the one that came with it and see if we can get it going, which we did. We got it going, got the MPU going, and now it actually plays a game. Everything works on the playing field. We flipped this over, re-sleeved all of our coils, cleaned all of our switches, adjusted all of our switches, all brand new light bulbs in it and everything, and now everything on the playing field works. We still only have two displays working. We have one here that's not working, and we're missing one right there, number 4. We're going to work on this one in this episode and see if we can get that one going. If not, what I'm going to do is order two new DIYs. Some assembly required, I should say. And we'll put those together, and we'll put them in 1 and 2, and the 2 that are working, we'll move them down to 3 and 4, because 1 and 2 are used the most. And we'll put all of our light bulbs in the back box, get that all done. Our tone board, since this doesn't have music or nothing like that, it just has synthesized bells, or whatever you want to call it, beeps and bongs. It fades in and out. It comes and goes, comes and goes, comes and goes. So we're going to rebuild our tone board. Tone. We're going to tone it up. And we'll get that done. And once we have all that done, our dragon will be done. We'll have a nice dragon. Oh, let's see, I think that's about all we did. Well, we straightened out the coin door too. It was kind of hammered. I put new legs on it because I didn't get any legs with this machine. So we have new legs and levelers on it. I have the glass for it and the lockdown bar. So the only thing we're missing right at the moment is that display. And once I pull that one, if that one doesn't work, then we'll be missing 2. By God, we're coming along. It's really shaping up. I think if you don't know what this looked like when I first got it, then definitely you got to go back and watch episode 1. And watch through the whole series, and you can see everything that has been done to this machine to get this far. And yeah, that's about all that we have done to this so far. We only have a few things to finish up, and then our dragon will be done, and we'll be ready to move on to our next project. So with that, with enough of me rambling on and letting you know what we've done so far, let's get to work on our dragon so we can get her finished up. Alright, tonight, first thing we're going to do is I want to rebuild this tone board. As you can see, it's not always working. Sometimes it'll work and sometimes it will. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to rebuild that tone board and see if we can't get it squared away. Okay, this is our little tone board here, and what we're going to do with it is we're going to replace the 3 caps on it. We're going to replace the transistor, which I think is the amplifier. I'm not sure. No, I don't know. That's not the amp. Yeah, it could be. Anyway, and we're going to replace the sound chip. I know the chip's working, but I bought the Gottlieb System 1 tone board kit from Big Daddy, and the chip's in there, so why not change it? I don't mind doing them. Now that I have the good desoldering station, it's pretty effortlessly to change them out now. So I'll get to work on this, and we'll get everything all swapped out on this and see if that takes care of our problem. I do have this little guy right here that's loose, and I do believe it's broke inside, and I gotta figure out what where I can get him at. Okay, let me get started on this, and we'll see what we can do. See what happens. That one, it might be fine, and but see, that one's pretty tight, but that one, I don't know, it feels like it's broke inside. And that might be why we have intermittent sound, is because it makes contact inside every now and then. It's not on the board. You know, we're not loose on the board. It's that component itself. And you can see that this only has 3 tones, or 3 chimes. Tone, really. And so you're going to have your 10, your 100, and your 1,000. So if you ever do have problems with one tone, you can narrow it down by, if you look, I'm not sure which one is which, if this is 10, 100, 1000, or 10, 100, 1000. I'm not sure, but you can narrow it down. If you have just one missing, 9 chances out of 10 your tone chip's working. You just have a problem in one of these areas. So let's get this rebuilt and see what we can come up with. Okay. We've got our caps put in, and now let's change out this chip. Change out our tone chip. Tone. If you do a lot of desoldering and on boards and whatever, that is the way to go. This is a cheap version. I think that was $149, but it's worth every penny I spent for it. My tools aren't the greatest. You know, my soldering station and rework station is another China model. I have 3 of these. One here out in the garage. I have one in the house where I do some stuff, and I have one at the store where I do a lot of stuff. So I have 3 of these, and they have not let me down. 2 of them are like this. They have the built-in power supply and all that. We can get into that another time. But this, if you're going to do a lot of desoldering, get one of these. It makes life so much easier. You've probably seen me use this a little bit. I normally don't show how cheap I am on tools. But, you know, you can see here. In fact, let me get you set up in my stand here, and I'll show you. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is make a note here where there's our little dot. I know you can't see it, but there's a little dot there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark my board because I'm a little forgetful. Plain and simple. Here's our new one. There's the wee little dot right there. So this little puke goes in like that. But, you know, there's so many different ways to desolder stuff. You can use, where's my, oh, there it is. You can use one of these. These work. You can just pull your trigger and melt your solder and put it down on there and suck it up. You can use one of those. Time consuming, but they work a little quicker. Or you can use some desoldering wick. Mainly what I use my desoldering wick for now is just to clean up pads. If you get big goobers and boogers and klingons of solder, you can get that stuff cleaned up with your desolder wick. But now I am totally spoiled with this. All you do, see there's a, let me clean my tip a little bit. That's better. You can see there's a little hole. Maybe you can see it. My camera's probably focusing on everything else. What you do is you just stick your stick that hole down over the lead, heat it up, and suck the solder right out of it. Put it down, heat it up, and you can hear the desolderer just suck up that solder. So I guess this is being professionally sucked off of the board. On a lot of these chips, especially on big ones, I will go through and clean as much solder off of it as I can. And then I can heat it up with my rework station and pull it up, because you're always going to have a wee little bit of solder on one or two of these legs. Now on these smaller chips, it's not too awful bad, because you can usually get them. Okay, let me get that out of my hand here, because that chip is ready to okay, I got one leg there still hanging on. This one right up here in the corner, I can still see a little bit of solder left on it. And there's our chip. Something that takes, oh, let's see, almost 20-25 minutes with the heat, with the pump, and probably a half an hour to clean that all up, down to about 5 minutes. I mean, you don't have to have one, but if you're going to be doing quite a bit, I suggest investing in one. Okay, we're going to socket this guy. A good machined socket. Oop, there you are. There's the notch. We're just going to set our socket right down in. And now we have to... I hate bending those legs over on sockets to hold the socket in there. So we're going to, let me see if I can do this one-handed and get one of these done. Let me get a little slobber on my gun. Okay, got one little dot holding that corner on, and what I'll do is I will make sure you can see, and then I'll do this one, and oh, hey, let go, and that one. And then what you do, turn around, put your finger on that socket, push it to the board, heat your pins up, those two that you already did, and that will suck it right down to the, you'll push that right onto the board as far as it can go. And then clean the Klingons off my soldering gun. And now we can take our new chip. Note there's the little dot, and our mark is where our dot goes. There. That's changed out. Now all I have left is putting in our tip 31C, and our tone board will be done, and we can put her back in and see what we come up with. See if we take care of our problem. So let me get busy doing that, and then we can put her back in the machine. Alright, everything's all done, finished up, and we're ready to put it back in the machine. Our contacts are clean. I'll clean the plug. And tell you, if you ever see my bench clean, you know there's something wrong with me. My bench always looks like this. I always just have enough room to do what I'm working on. I'll scoot my crap one way or the other or up against to make room to work on something. That's just the way I've always been. Sorry if it drives some of you nuts. Tone board is in, and let's see what we get. I need to adjust the switch over there. And I still need to adjust our rollover switches there. It rolls over, and it doesn't always watch. Well, I missed that one anyway. But I do believe. Sorry about that. I'm busy watching the pinball. Oh, see, still it faded out on us there at the end. Oh, we don't have any games. One game. Yeah, you can hear it. It's still cutting out on us. So we need to take a look. I don't know, maybe it's... let's see what else we can figure out. It might be our speaker connections. Let me lift the playing field and we'll take a look at those. We still have the same issue where the the sound wants to cut in and out. I mean, sounds good most of the time, but as you're playing and say you can barely hear it, it is that little, it is a capacitor. Come over here, we have our tone board, System 1 tone board. We're looking at C7. That's the one that's real loose, that's the one it's broke inside. C7 is a capacitor, 0.047 UF 100 volt. So I went ahead and ordered that. Those weren't in the kit. I guess that's something that doesn't go bad, except my luck. It's bad. So I went ahead and ordered those, and we'll have those in shortly, and we can get that tone board straightened out. Now we got our little capacitor in, which is a Project Mylar filament cap, 0.047 UF 100 volt. Now we can change out this little guy and get our sound working properly. And it's the same as always. What I normally do is I will we'll get the old one off of here. Kind of hard to do this one-handed, but let's see if we can get her done. There we go. Get a new one out here. Okay, now trust me, I'm not going to be able to solder this with one hand, so let me get that soldered in. Okay, I've got our little Mylar filament cap put in. Now let's get this installed. My screwdriver again. It's just, that was broke inside. One of the leads broke up inside the cap. That's the only reason why it was bad. And if you kind of jam something under it, it would work. Okay, now let's, I think I better plug it in or we're not going to have any power. Alright, let me put the playing field back down, I'll get her plugged in, we'll get her turned on and see what's going on. Alright, now let's see what we got. Oh, I bet we'll need a ball. Huh. So far, so good. Because usually if you hit the flipper, before when you were playing, when you hit the flippers, the sound would leave, and then as you would play some more, it would come back. So, and that was just a vibration of that little cap inside. You'd get it just enough and it would work, and sometimes it wouldn't. So that takes care of our sound problem. Now we only have one more thing to do, and that's to take care of our displays. And we'll do that in the next episode. Thought I was going to be able to get all of this in one episode, but we really got into rebuilding that tone board, soundboard, sound card, whatever you want to call it. Got it all squared away. Now it's reliable. We're going to have a pretty reliable machine here once we're done. So if you like the video, you know what to do. Hit the like button, and if you're new here, hit the subscribe, and I'll bring you more of these cool pinball videos. So until next time, see ya.